All right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. I want to welcome you to episode 6 of the Know It All podcast. Now, this episode, I really want to dig into the national championship, not by the gentlemen this past Monday, but by the ladies this past Sunday. The title of today's episode is Overcoming Adversity, what we can learn from the controversy between Angel Reese and Caitlin Carter in the LSU versus Iowa national championship game. The goal, again, of the Know It All podcast is for us to explore motivational and inspirational topics to help you live your very best life, your best version of yourself. And in this episode, we'll discuss the Women's National Championship again, and how the narrative following the victory by LSU has kind of skewed what just should have been a celebration of what I believe is likely the peak of women's basketball in the history of the game. And I think it set the stage for only good and more positive things to come. But unless you've been living under a rock for the past few days, you likely know that there are people that somehow have made controversy out of these two highly competitive teams with two highly competitive superstars on their respective teams and how they went about approaching the game this past Sunday. First of all, personally, I think for most fans of sports, we understand that competition likely leads to a certain level of taunting, bragging, just talking shit. It's just part of the game on every level. But what can we learn about overcoming adversity and finding our own path to both victory and win and defeat? And that's what I want to touch on. I don't want to dig too deep into the why of the controversy, but instead use it as a way to help illustrate how you should go about approaching your next stage in life. So without further delay, let's go. Now, for those that know, it's, again, incredibly normal to have controversy in sports. You know, it's sometimes they don't like if someone dunks and stirs them down. Some sports have tried to legislate how you celebrate. The NFL famously a few years ago originally had outlawed celebrations after touchdowns, or they had muted it to only a certain types of celebrations. But they slowly realized that this is entertainment. People enjoy being entertained, and one of the ways that people enjoy being entertained is via the celebrations by the players. But let's get back to the purpose of this episode and the controversy. So let's go. The controversy between Angel Reese and Caitlin Carter, again, has been making a lot of headlines for many days now. And it's been kind of a difficult and emotional time, I believe, for both players, just in their post-game interviews and tweets and so forth. And it's probably been challenging for fans of women's basketball as well. But what can we learn from this experience about overcoming adversity? So, first of all, a little more background. First of all, we have Angel Reese. She is from Baltimore, which for those who might not recall, that is where I'm from. So I naturally have a innate desire to support her. She even went to St. Francis Academy, which is the same school that my mother went to. So there's either a better connection there. So she's from my city. But one of the most powerful quotes that I saw from her following the victory, and it correlates so well with the so-called controversy that's built out of this game, is she stated, "All year, I was critiqued about who I was. I'm too hood. I'm too ghetto. Y'all told me that all year. When other people do it, y'all don't say nothing. This was for the girls that look like me." End of quote. What did she mean by that quote? Well, only she can truly tell you. But what I look and what I took from it is it's important to learn to be comfortable with who you are. It's not necessary to conform and to align to one way in order to succeed. Many times people believe that there's only one way to get to the end result. Being really deep into fitness, I see these fitness influencers, oftentimes they'll post, this is what I eat every day. And some of them are being deceptive purposely because they say this is what I eat every day, but they forget to mention the TRT and the other supplements that they use to truly create the physical specimen that they've achieved. But even then, you have people that want to mirror exactly what they do. But it's important to understand that it is okay and it's likely in your best interest to carve your own lane, in order to find your authentic self. So that's what I really took from that quote by Angel Reese is be your authentic self. I've heard so many other stories over the years about rappers who want to be successful. They want to make money. They want to, the dream is to buy your mother a home, get out of the hood, be a positive influence, raise your children, break curses, whatever the language might be. In order to achieve that, they would prefer to be more uplifting and positive in how they relay their lyrics. But they feel a level of pressure from their labels that they have to be this stereotypical bang, bang, fuck bitches type of music. And even when they've evolved from that person, they feel they have no choice but to comply or they'll be a failure. And that's why knowing your true self and having resilience is so incredibly important. That's why resilience and perseverance are pinnacle to sustained success because you will face setbacks. You will face judgment. You will have people who want to stifle your growth, but ultimately you are in control of how you use these setbacks as opportunities for growth. So as you reflect, and again, I don't care what side of the equation you fall on if you think too much taunting or too much shit talking is bad for the sport. The moral of the story is you need to understand the need to be your own person, to own your own wins, to own your own losses, to carve your own lane. And you do not need to comply in order to succeed. Now, moving on, the controversy around the national championship, again, has really muddied the water of what otherwise should have been a glaring example of how relevant women's sports really are, how competitive these women are, how great they are at playing the game, and how well they compete on the highest level possible in the sport. When you look at the game between LSU and Iowa, another example of facing adversity and coming out on top, LSU came into the game. They were considered, I'm an underdog going into the game, but they were able to pull off the stunning upset and claim the title. And what I believe you can really learn from their success is sometimes we only think of huge victories when trying to build off of beating the odds. But understanding how collectively you can build and become better by celebrating the small victories. When you think about the tourney and you think about the seed of 64, going to 32, going to 16, going to 8-4, those small victories are all building towards that ultimate victory that you need to achieve. And it's not always, or likely not even most of the time, going to be a cakewalk. You're going to be going against the odds. It's going to be people in circumstances that are collectively working against you. So if you miss celebrating those small victories, if you miss celebrating making it from the round of 64 to 32, making it from the round of 32 to 64, you will not be able to truly appreciate your goal. And ultimately, you won't be able to smell the flowers. So when you sit down and think about what you want to accomplish as you continue this week, what you want to accomplish in the next 30, 60, 90, 120 days, the next 6 months, the next year, think about the small steps that are necessary to get there. Don't just become laser focused on just the goal, just the end goal, because then it's incredibly difficult to get distracted, to get down, when things don't perfectly go your way, give yourself the space to celebrate your small victories and use these small victories as the fuel to continue towards your big goal. We all know who Caitlin Carter is. If you don't know, I'm sorry for you. Go to YouTube, look at some of her footage. She is an outstanding basketball player. You know, they've made a really great comparison of making her the Steph Curry of women's basketball, because she will pull up from anywhere. She can beat you off the dribble, and she carried this team. You know, when you're contributing to over 70% of the points for your team, rather in scoring or assists, that's insane. So she's probably the best offensive player in college basketball, not in women's college basketball, probably the best offensive player in college basketball. And I can guarantee you that when she's in the gym before or after practice, and she's taking her shots, she is putting in the work for those small victories. You have to understand that no one achieves their goals by just hitting a grand slam. You're going to hit a single. You're going to hit a double. You're going to hit it to the pitcher and get out. You're going to get beat out on the pitch. You see that I'm preparing it through all the various sports references here. We've done football, we've done basketball, we've done baseball. I'm here for all the metaphors. But honestly, the things that wouldn't necessarily register to the average person as achieving goals is how the great ones overachieve and how they become better than you might think they could be, or maybe even they may think they could be. After Iowa beat Nebraska earlier this season, one of the best quotes that I saw that Caitlin shared is simply, "I wasn't going to lose this game. That wasn't an option tonight. We knew we needed this win, and that's what we came here to do. We knew we were going to win no matter what it took." How many times have you gone into a situation with the attitude is of, I have no choice but to win, no matter what the challenge is, whether it's to get a job, to get a promotion, to go to school, to raise your kids, whatever it may be, whatever goal you have in life, you need to have the drive and the dedication to do whatever it takes within the law and have a willingness to fail. Because if you don't have a willingness to fail, now you're going to tiptoe and you're going to be as safe as possible. And it's really going to hinder your ability to achieve your goals. So again, as you think through the day, I want you to remember to attack each day with that same attitude, and remember that celebrating the small victories is an incredibly powerful form of motivation. So whether it's this controversy between Angel Reese and Caitlin Carter, or you're in your own high pressure game of life, it doesn't have to be the national championship. There will always be challenges that we face in life. But can we stay motivated in the face of those challenges? There are lots of strategies that you can use to maintain focus. Setting goals, setting desired timelines to meet those goals and make them compelling is one of my favorite challenges. Again, I've talked about journaling and the power of journaling on multiple episodes, but writing down what you want to achieve to help you find that inner strength to push through difficult times is incredibly, incredibly powerful. So moving on, again, how do we apply these lessons to our own lives? At the end of the day, the lessons we learn from the national championship, again, can be applied to our own lives. So no matter what you do and how you do it, remember, Caitlin felt like she needed to prove something. Angel Reese felt like she needed to prove something. The Iowa Hawkeyes felt like they needed to prove something. The LSU Tigers felt like they needed to prove something. And the reason why you should have that type of chip on your shoulder is once you truly realize that you can't please everyone, it's much easier to move forward and accomplish your goals. Once you're able to carry it like, I want to overcome these odds because no one else is going to push me harder than I can push myself. That is the fuel that you need in order to find your success. Like I said in the beginning, taunting, again, talking shit is part of the game. Like it or love it, hate it or leave it, it is part of the game. Some players excel in it, some players don't. Even players who you may not think are really good at it are apparently really good at it. I remember, I can't recall who it was talking about Tim Duncan talking shit. And if you know basketball and you know Tim Duncan, he seems like a soft giant. You know, he's, to me, is the greatest power forward in the history of the game. And he doesn't seem like the type that talks a lot of crap, but apparently he was really good at talking crap. And it was the polite type of crap that might not even register, but he was able to carry it that way. The swagger, the bravado, and backing it up should excite you. It excites fans. It can be an incredibly motivating factor because all you're doing is feeding yourself fuel to build on your greatness. So with that, my personal advice as you attack the day or attack tomorrow is walk into it with a chip on your shoulder, a healthy cockiness. You know, you don't have to kick other people in order to build yourself up, but you can have a chip on your shoulder that I'm going to prove to myself, I'm going to prove to everyone that I'm determined to meet these goals. Cockiness does not have to be a negative thing. You can feel free to make competition out of whatever you do in life, because ultimately looking out for yourself and your well-being is paramount to your long-term success. So again, it doesn't matter if you're facing challenges in your personal or professional lives. You can use the strategies and the focus and the alignment with self-motivation that, again, Angel Reese and Caitlin Carter used in pushing their teams to the highest level of the game and getting so many people who otherwise were not paying attention to women's college basketball to be tuned in. Again, that's what I think is the most awesome takeaway from this entire tourney is so many people who would look the other way when it's a women's tournament were really, really locked in. Again, between the double doubles that Angel Reese just keeps stacking and the the 40-point games from Caitlin Carter on multiple nights, it's really exciting. It's great for the sport. And as I wrap up here, I want to remind people that you are capable of achieving extremely great things. You are already more accomplished than you likely give yourself credit for. And I want you to feel motivated and feel driven to become the best version of yourself. So again, I want to thank you for tuning in to the Know It All podcast. I want to thank my 88 subscribers. This page is only 30 days old or almost 40 days old now. I'm incredibly grateful. Looking to build something much better than what we already have. I'm looking to push myself and to drive myself. We're already slating people to be guests on the show. So we're going to have more guests who can share more motivational stories and more narratives to help you find the strength you need to feel motivated and to overcome adversity in your own life. So until next time, I want to invite you to continue to look at some of the thought-provoking content that I'm sharing on a daily basis. Please, 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 please remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe. And again, we're at 88 subscribers, so I would love to reach our first milestone, which would be 100 subscribers. But as always, I appreciate you. Don't waste any time not appreciating yourself. And remember, no one else can be you. You are the best version of yourself. You are one of one. You are the only you. So be the best version of yourself. And like Angel Reese said, be unapologetically you. Have a great day.